But it is 12 o'clock, and so I think it's time to start out here. So I'm going to hand it over here to Gary, and he will tell you all the answers.
Thank you, Ben, and welcome this afternoon. As you may have known, May was Historic Preservation Month. So in Marathon County, Wisconsin, and throughout the nation, we celebrate May as featuring landmarks and architectural features of a variety of local places in this nation, as well as in Wausau and Marathon County. As Ben mentioned, the last issue of the Wanigan featured 22 sites, pretty much, well, in Wausau. And the trick of it was to try to have people identify where these sites are. And the deadline for identifying those was yesterday. So if it's not postmarked by yesterday, you're out of luck. But today, one day after the deadline, we're going to be revealing the sites of these little clues that we posted on our Wanigan newsletter. So with that, the winners of the scavenger hunt will be revealed History Chats 12:30 on Thursday afternoon. So join us for that, and we'll be announcing the winners of the architectural scavenger hunt. But for now, we will go forth. There were 22 sites in the newsletter, the Wanigan, and today we're going to tell you a little bit about these places and where they are located. So we begin. Number one was this window, very unique window, as part of the garage of the Stewart Inn on Grant Street in Wausau, Wisconsin. It's on the National Register of Historic Places, designed by George Mayer, one of the true elegant prairie school style of architecture in the city. We'll talk about another one shortly, but that unique window, that arch window of the Stewart Inn is quite distinctive as part of this house and as part of this the lot. Really, it's quite unique, I think, and that's one of the things we wanted to lead off our scavenger hunt with. The next was this bench, really to the back end of the back side of this bench. You might get a little bit of a clue about what's in the background. We didn't give you too much of a clue, but it's located in what we call McIndoe Park, or Library Park, on the south side of the public library on the corner of Washington Street and First Street. You can see the public library sign there off on your left. It forms a little bit of a park, but the park is there, and this little bench is there for you to enjoy this little serene spot by the library, by the public library. This school bell, and I think this may have been a little bit a trick for some people, but we have a school bell, and the school bell is located at the Longfellow Administrative Buildings on Seymour Street. Seymour Street runs parallel to Grand Avenue. In back of the police department, if you're familiar with the police department on Grand Avenue, Seymour Street is that street to your east. Longfellow School has been there since 1894. One of the early schools that are still here. It's now, of course, the administrative offices of the Wausau School District. But through the years they were able to, and bless their heart for keeping this school bell as part of that property at the Longfellow Administrative Building. This is how it sits, the larger administrative building, Longfellow School. This unique feature of architecture is above the Shepherd and Schaller store on Scott Street between 3rd and 4th Streets in downtown Wausau. We're looking from the 400 block. We're looking northwest. So this is really across the street from the north side of the 400 block. And that building is, again, over 100 years old, one of the more original buildings to this city square that really does grace this, the city square, along with the Grand Theater and other buildings surrounding are what we now call the 400 block. This unique bottom or base to a lamppost is located at the Federal Building on 1st Street, across the street from that public library between Washington Street and Jefferson Street. This was a post office at one time. It was built as a post office, moved into federal office buildings, and now it's an apartment building. Let me just back up. When it was originally built, it was, we can see the symbol of the United States in that eagle above the main doorway, built in 1937 as a new post office for the city of Wausau here. And there's now apartments on the National Register of Historic Places, a unique building, really a strong landmark greeting people into the city of Wausau. This unique feature it decorates the ticket office for the Performing Arts Foundation on 4th Street between Jefferson and Scott Streets. The Grand Theater would be to your left, and you notice those little insignias there. This building also is over 100 years old. The red granite, you can notice that at the base, and then Ringle brick taking up the 2nd floor. The rest, another one of our historic buildings facing the 400 block in downtown Wausau. When I came across this, I could not let this little feature of the 600 block in downtown Wausau go by. I just felt really captivated by this little feature. And I usually would be saying, look up, because if you noticed, a lot of the features that I've picked out were perhaps on the 2nd floor or features that you would have to look up to. This is in the 600 block of 3rd Street. Just so that a part of this English Tudor building, of course, this is a very historic block in the city, going back over 100 years also, but this English Tudor style has kept with this block for many, many years, and I think it's really just sort of a unique place to take a look at that. And when you come down the 600 block of 3rd Street, you really do have to look up and see the great features of this block, especially on the 2nd floors. This NYA, so this may or may not have tricked some people. When I just came across this not that long ago. I came across this and I thought, why in all my life have I not seen this stick out to me in this building? Because I've certainly been here, I've looked at this granite building enough, but it is on what we call the stone wing of the youth building, or now called the Eastgate Hall building, as you enter Marathon Park from the Garfield Street entrance. So as you come through the Garfield Street gate there, you turn face left, and then you'll see the little stone memorial to the donators of the Marathon Park, and that early log, white pine, and then if you look further back into that stone wing, you'll see that NYA. The NYA, of course, comes from the National Youth Administration, a New Deal program that enlisted young people to put their efforts to work to build buildings, and the National Youth Administration was the main program that built what was at one time called the Youth Building. Now it's called Eastgate Hall, but the stone wing still remains as a tribute to a lot of New Deal work done in Wausau and Marathon County, and this is one of the National Youth Administration's tributes in Marathon Park. This feature sort of is home to us here at the Marathon County Historical Society. This is a window, a little bay window facing 4th Street from the Yaki House across the street at 403 McIndoe Street. This is the 4th Street side of the Yaki House. Look up, second floor, and the little porch to the bottom was always a little bit of an office for Cyrus Yaki to engage his business partners into his office. So this was on the side. The main entrance, of course, faces McIndoe Street. So I thought I would throw in a little bit of a mystery this afternoon. And I'll tell you where this is, but just if you're watching this and you think, well, where is this? This was in conjunction with the Yaki House a little bit down the street. This is in Yaki Park, facing northeast. The Presbyterian Church parking lot is across the street. But if you're familiar with another place for you to visit, take a look at this fountain, a unique feature of Yaki Park, really one of the delights of some of our landmarks in downtown Wausau. This unique art is a part of Zion Lutheran Church on the corner of 6th and Grant. This is their main entrance on Grant Street. 6th Street's on your left, and then we just step back a little bit so that you can get the full flavor of Zion. This church was built in the 1950s. This was, I believe, their 3rd church after churches on Seymour Street, as well as 5th and Scott Streets in Wausau. And of course, when we think of Wausau, here it's right in front of us. When we think of Wausau, we think of a lot of things. One of the things we really do think of is our railroad history. And with our railroad history, we have the railroad depots. And this is taken from across the tracks, the little park across the tracks from the depot on Grant Street. This was the depot of the Milwaukee Road, Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul as it came north, and as it was coming north into the North Woods from places like Junction City and Dancy. That line came north into the North Woods, but this was their depot in Wausau. So here we have another unique little feature in Marathon Park. It is the judging pavilion at Marathon Park that I step back. This was Alexander Eschweiler's design. This is part of his thematic buildings in Wausau, Wisconsin on the National Register of Historic Places. This is the judging pavilion in Marathon Park. When we take a look at that cupola, we may get it confused with the cupola across the street at the exhibition building. But the exhibition building's cupola is a little bit more intricate. It has a railing around, and I thought that the cupola at the judging pavilion would be a little bit more out of the way, but we I just wanted to show the feature of the exhibition building to see the difference of the two cupolas. Again, where are we? Downtown Wausau, a unique building. Church, of course, designed by Anton Domen. This is St. Stephen's Lutheran Church, a unique three-door Gothic church in downtown Wausau on the corner of McClellan and Fifth Streets. Another unique building that really does distinguish downtown Wausau as far as its church history as well as its architectural history. So here we have a little Art Deco type of window located in the on the back side of Wausau City Hall. This view is from the McClellan Street side between 4th and 5th Street. What we immediately see in front of us is the Hans Hege fountain. Of course, this building itself was built in the 1940s for the home at what became Wausau Insurance Companies. Hans Hege was the president for many years, and when it came to have this fountain, they named it after Hans Hege, the president of Wausau Insurance for many years. A unique art, and that the building itself was home to Wausau Insurance, eventually became home to the City Hall. But this unique Art Deco is really still part of that unique City Hall built in the 1940s. This little ornamentation is from the YMCA on 5th Street in Wausau, pretty much on the corner of Grant and 5th Street. And I boxed in that little feature. You wouldn't really, it was kind of hard to notice, and I congratulate those that did get this one. I just wanted to see the unique feature of buildings such as the YMCA. It does have a unique architectural feature, especially that above the door, the columns, a pretty unique part of the YMCA and its long history itself on this building in the downtown of Wausau. So here we have another feature of a church in downtown Wausau. And that church is Church of the Resurrection on the corner of McClellan and 2nd Street, built in 1910, also designed by Anton Domen. If you take a look at the differences between St. Stephen's up the street and this church, you can see that they're quite similar in a way. The three doors, the three main doors, the two towers, the great stained glass windows featuring pretty much on all sides of the church itself. So this little feature points to a great church, long history, very architecturally significant in downtown Wausau. And we're stepping out of the city, not out of the city, but out of the downtown area, I should say, is this little tower, part of the tower at Pine Grove Cemetery. This little gatehouse was donated to the city, to the Pine Grove Cemetery by the Ladies Literary Society, I believe back in the 1920s. Now it stands as their office, but has welcomed visitors into the cemetery for many years. Unique granite features, and that tower is quite a distinctive part of this gatehouse in Pine Grove Cemetery. Off of Grand Avenue, going down Grand Avenue will be on your left. I want to say about the 1200 block or so. It'll be on your left past Town Line Road. This is the sign that would be greeting you as you come into Pine Grove Cemetery. Again, stepping out of the downtown, we have this picture of the Kleinheinz Dairy Company, one of the early dairies in the city. When we think of dairying in Marathon County, we think of the dairy companies in the city that brought all that milk into the city to be bottled but perchance made into ice cream or whatever other dairy product. And one of these buildings was the Kleinheinz Dairy on the west side of Wausau on 2nd Avenue. And it still keeps the Kleinheinz Dairy Company label on above the second floor. A testament really, and not very many more testaments to the dairy industry in the city as well as in Marathon County. And here again, stepping out of downtown Wausau, we have this little stone building that is Oak Island, the shelter house at Oak Island Park, off of River Drive, off of Thomas Street in the city. Oak Island Park has been a park for a long time. Part of what used to be lumber fields, because this was really the south side of some great lumber sawmills that dominated the riverfront for many, many years. This was, I don't want to get into the whole story of this was indeed an island at one time, part of our sawmill history, but it is now called Oak Island, although it is not sitting on an island as such, but a unique building itself sitting in Oak Island Park. A community park off of River Drive, great views of the city, great views of the riverfront, a great place to relax in that whole area of Oak Island Community Park. This little ornamentation is also familiar to the Marathon County Historical Society, pretty much just sitting right outside of our front door. This is the A.P. Woodson House, home of the Marathon County Historical Society at 410 McIndoe Street, across the street from the Yaki House. Built in 1914, 1915, designed by George Mayer. Again, really one of the rare examples of prairie school architecture in the city, and I could go on, but again, as you notice from the Stewart House, the arch above the door, really a symbol of Mayer's style of prairie school architecture, a unique building, and that ornamentation really decorates the columns that support that arch as we come into the Woodson House or the Woodson History Center. The front door is now open, so you can, we're open, so please come and take a look at this wonderful house. And then we have these dentals, and you can sense that it's, you have to look up again. We're in downtown Wausau again. And we're looking at the CVA building today on the corner of Scott Street and 4th Street next to the Grand Theater again. This is sort of the anchor on the north side of the Grand Theater. CVA museum built in the I want to say in the 1890s. Also another great architectural landmark gem in downtown Wausau. One of those buildings that again circle the 400 block and make this really a true historic block in this city. And this little window is on the second floor of the this building on the corner of McClellan and 3rd Street. It is the second floor of the Prima Deli. Again, back in the day, this was a much more extensive building, the Rhodey bookstore, much more decorative. There were other, what I want to say, additions above the second floor. But this unique style of architecture still permeates this building, and we really want to call our attention to these little highlights, really, of landmarks that still are with us in downtown Wausau. And finally, we come to this blue marble. I'm not sure of the material, but this lines the base of the downtown grocery on 3rd Street in the 600 block of 3rd Street. A unique little feature to this building. This building has, of course, undergone some quite extensive remodeling through the years, but this is, I think, a unique architectural feature of this downtown grocery building, and I think one of the unique places to take a look. And usually I would give the hint of looking up to second floor. As you notice, a lot of things were looking up to the second floor, but with the final picture here of the was the looking down to see this unique feature of this building on the 600 block, 607 in fact, 607 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. So with that, I conclude the little answers to our trivia, to our scavenger hunt. I hope you enjoyed the hunt. I hope you enjoyed finding those little sites and of architectural features that are quite distinctive in this city. And I think if you didn't enter the contest, but you're intrigued by some of those sites, now you can sort of get a sense of what downtown Wausau was like and is like, as well as some of the features surrounding downtown Wausau Marathon Park. There's a lot to see, and during National Preservation Month, we wanted to really highlight some of the unique architectural landmark features of the city, and I hope you enjoyed doing the hunt, as well as this afternoon seeing the great reveal about where some of these little features are in our great city.